What's going on, my lovelies? How y'all doing? I hope y'all are doing well this evening. I definitely am feeling very lovely indeed. I'm feeling very good. It has been an amazing day. I always forget to do that. So first off, hello. How are you? How are you feeling? How are you doing? I hope you had a good day today. I hope the 12-hour period before you saw this video, I hope it was good. Yeah. I hope you're feeling alright. And if you're not feeling alright, I hope this video, if you stay for the duration of it, I hope it makes you feel better. My whole goal of doing these videos is to A, be authentic because I'm so moved to do them. B, the reason I do these videos is because they are healing for me and I feel better when I'm doing them. I also do these videos because I was moved spiritually to do them a while ago. And my hope is to put some positive energy out there into the cosmos, into the world. That is my hope. That is my goal in life, is to, in my own way, make the world a better place. Ooh. All right, everybody calm down. That is my genuine hope. That is my wish. For those of you who are returning viewers, welcome back. I missed you. And for those of you who are new viewers, because I am getting new subscribers every day now, and this is crazy. I've never seen growth like this. This is wild. Welcome to those of you who are new. My name is Yasha. I also go by Tato the Penguin. Usually it is some version of that when I'm gaming. And then also on here and some of my other social media. That's where it is. Do you ever try to put in earrings and you're like, damn, I just wish I could... There it goes. Yeah. Alright, and then we have our little mushroom ring that we put on. Yay. But yeah, so I'm just here to spread positive vibes. Sometimes I have messages for you all. Some of the messages are spiritually led. Some of them are just things that I've been thinking about. It really just depends on the day. But I do these videos every night. They're unscripted. And the only time that I do anything that is pre-planned is if I am moved to. And tonight is not a pre-planned night. I'm just kind of going for it. So, and as always, please get your water. Please get your water in. I know some of you are not fans. Some of you would rather drink Mountain Dew every day or coffee every day. And while I do not judge you for that decision, try to get at least 8 ounces. If you don't usually drink water, try to get at least 8 ounces of water in a day. My love, please try to get something in. That isn't just something that is high in caffeine. 3 minutes and 3 seconds. 3 minutes and 33 seconds as I say that. Water is life. Water is life. So, I believe that is all I had for my intro. I'm not gonna lie to y'all, I'm freaking out a little bit. I'm freaking out just a little bit. Because when I looked, I have 920 subscribers. I am geeking. I am geeking right now. Again, I didn't start doing these videos to get subscribers. I really started them as just I was moved to spiritually. I was in a place where my spiritual journey, I was doing a lot of things that I felt like I was being tested. Like I would get like moments of not intrusive thought, but I would get kind of these moments in my mind or in my spirit where I would just be moved to do things. And I was moved at some point to just start doing videos like this, where I just talk to you guys about my life. You know, I get vulnerable in some of these videos. I share my opinions. 4 minutes and 44 seconds. So if you've been thinking about doing this yourself, I think you should. The number 4 represents foundations. And if you see triple fours anywhere, it probably is a sign from the universe to look at your foundation, or it is to let you know that your foundation is solid. And 5 minutes and 5 seconds as I say that. So, So yeah, I did not expect to get subscribers when I first started doing these videos. I really thought this was just for me. Excuse me. I thought that the whole point was for me to get used to putting myself out there and being vulnerable. Because when I started doing these, I was talking a lot about my emotional person. So I was talking about crushes that I have, that I still have. I was talking about what was going on like with me in regards to like my relationships, my familial stuff, my spiritual journey, my insecurities. Like I was really spending a lot of time talking about stuff like that, and I originally thought that was the point of these videos, and that was always just going to be the point. And I was to do these until I was moved to not do them. Well, we're about a month and some days in, I'm still doing these, and I'm seeing likes and comments and people subscribing, and I did not expect that to happen. Because these videos aren't like, in my opinion, when I watch, they're entertaining to me. Like if I go back and I watch them, sometimes I'll say something and forget that I said it, and I'm like, oh, that's actually a good point, and I'll like meditate on it for a while. But I didn't expect for people to start subscribing, so I'm really excited. Somebody recommended that when I get to 1,000 subscribers, I could do like a live stream, and I might. That actually sounds like a lot of fun. That way I can actually talk to you all directly, and I can maybe answer like questions maybe that you all have. I know that's a slippery slope, but I mean, the whole point of vulnerability and being an open book is that, you know? So that's something that I could do. Ooh, maybe like a live stream where we can kind of just chat together, and then I could also maybe potentially have soju while we do that. That sounds like fun to me. Soju and maybe like a candy that I like, or maybe some chips or something. I could splurge a little bit. That sounds like a lot of fun, actually, so we might have to look into that. That sounds like a good idea, actually. Very excited, very excited. I know sometimes like I'll be talking and then I look in the camera and this thing is sitting like this, and that really bothers me. But yeah, so man, today was a phenomenal day. I was on it with the writing in my journal. Man, what has it been? 2 days? I pat myself on the back. If I'm like, I'm trying to be disciplined, and I go one day and then the next day I'm on it, I pat myself on the back. You guys, pat yourself on the back for what you consider small wins. Pat yourself on the back. We don't celebrate ourselves nearly enough. And when I say celebrate yourself, I mean really take the time to sit in it and be like, man, I woke up this morning. Like for me, I woke up this morning and I sat up after I came to consciousness. I immediately grabbed my glasses and my journal and I started writing. 8 minutes and 8 seconds as I say this. I immediately started writing, and then I sat there and I meditated for like 10 minutes, and I received all kinds of great, interesting information. And so today, my job, or the 3 things, something I've been doing, if this is the first video of mine that you've seen and you didn't see the last one, something I've been doing recently is I will meditate, and during meditation, I leave my mind open. I just sit there and I let thoughts flow. I don't try to hold on to anything, but sometimes there will be gems that stick out and they just keep repeating. And then those are the things I tend to focus on. So today, the 3 things that stuck out were actually viewing the world and the universe and how the planets align and how, you know, the stars shine and how everything works in the universe, and to be impressed by it. Be impressed by how grand and how well organized the universe actually is. That was the first thing. So be impressed by it. Just geek out about it. The second thing was look at the earth and observe how small it actually is. The earth is actually very small. And then I was moved to do something else that had to do with my YouTube channel. I was moved to check on some things, and so I checked on those things, and I was actually very impressed by what I saw. I was moved to actually look at my analytics, which I don't do. I've never done that. I've never, even when I was doing singing videos, I didn't check my analytics. I didn't know how. But then I also didn't see the point, because I don't do content in the way that I do it. Like, I change it based on the audience. That's not usually what I do, just because Like now I wouldn't do that because then what I'm doing wouldn't be genuine. I would be trying to gear it towards an audience, you know? So hey, if you do that, do it, do it. This is just my journey. So this is just what I'm doing. And when I looked, I noticed that a majority of you all are new subscribers. First off, I'm getting a lot of new subscribers in quick succession. And then also, a lot of you are, your address is you are United States based. And the reason that's so impressive to me is because when I first started doing vocal videos back in the day, the two places I received a majority of my views were from Japan and Germany, funny enough. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that my name is Yasha, and it's spelled Jascha, which is actually, it's Lithuanian. I was named after a violinist. His name was Jascha Heifetz, and he was one of the greatest violinists, I think, of the 20th century, if I'm not mistaken. I could be mistaken. But that's who I was named after. And so I didn't find it weird because my name is Yasha. So if you type in, if you're in Germany and you're trying to look up, you know, popular people on, you know, their social media, it's a lot of Yashas, and usually they're dudes. So I know that there were some people who were like, what? Who is this? Why does she look like that? She's not a Russian guy or a German guy. I'm not. And if you stay, I'll show you why it's even better. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, I'm not kidding, but anywho, so I found it really interesting because I am posting this stuff to be authentic and to be real, and I'm shook that it's people who live here in the US who are responding to these videos, because maybe a couple months ago I would have assumed that US based people wouldn't care for content like this, because, you know, here everything is so, it's been like, social media has been so very saturated with, you know, putting on a face. 12 minutes and 12 seconds as I say that. It's been so saturated with being someone you're not. And so I did not think that authentic content was going to be seen. If I started doing authentic content, I never thought that that would be the case. So I was very impressed when I saw that. So you all are the gems. Now, of course, some of you are watching these videos because you enjoy how I sound. It's ASMR. Some of you are watching these videos not because of the spiritual stuff that I do, and you have other reasons why you're watching these videos, and I don't judge you for that. You know, I take all types here, as long as you're being kind in the comments. If you do comment, you know, as long as you're not being rude, you can stay as long as you'd like. Who knows? Maybe you'll be watching a video and something I say actually hits you in the chest and you're like, damn, that's not what I expected. It could happen. But I was very impressed by that, to see that, and it made me very happy. But something that I thought about today, it's soulmate related. Yeah, I'm kind of on this kick right now. So, actually, the first thing that I want to talk about, let me get some water in first. Side note, do you guys remember the song that Timon was singing in The Lion King? When he's like... luau. Did you see me? Come again and I don't know when I was stay in line. Ah, you aching? Yep, 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 yep. For some bacon? Yep, yep, yep. He's a big pig. Yep, yep. You can be a big pig too. Ooh. I just thought of that just now. I love what he said. And he's like, we need a diversion. And he's like, a diversion? What do you want me to do? Dress in drag and do the hula? Bro. Some of the lines from like Disney movies from before are actually very comical. They're actually very funny. But anyways, so the first thing is being impressed with the organization and how smoothly the universe does things. And the reason why I'm pretty sure I was moved to notice this and to recognize this. Oh my gosh, that one was aggressive. Jeez. Still here. So, I believe I was moved to focus on how easy the universe does things. Because something that we have been brainwashed into believing is that life is meant to be difficult and hard, and we're meant to suffer, and we're meant to struggle. Just think for a second, who benefits from you believing that? Who benefits from you believing that? Yeah. So that's why we are motivated to be workhorses. We're not really motivated to seek out our passion and to do things that are true and authentic to us. Here in the United States, the schooling system, for the most part, teaches children how to be employees. That is why you are taught to work in class and you bust your ass, and then you go home and you do homework. And you struggle through your homework, and your parents help you with your homework, and then you go right back to school the next day. So you are almost being trained to take your work home with you, even when you should be leaving your work at school. The reason I'm in school 8 hours a day is so that I can learn there. Why are you giving me homework? And a lot of people will say, oh, well, so that you can, learn the things and it can settle. Research has already been done that shows that homework doesn't actually do too much. 16 minutes and 16 seconds as I say this. Homework doesn't actually do that much in order to help children learn concepts, especially if they're going home to home environments where their parents do not know those concepts and can't really help them study. So then you have kids stressing and struggling at home and getting anxiety about the work that they can't do. Other countries have started to get rid of homework entirely because they've realized how damaging it is to kids. Crazy, right? Yeah. I would look up those studies. So that you can see them by name. But I think Finland was one of the first places that decided that they were going to completely switch up how homework is done. And Finland is leading the charge right now as far as education goes. Their children are way happier. They contribute way more to society. They're actually very passionate about what they do. And they are far more aware of what's happening in the rest of the world than a lot of the people here in the US because of the way the education system is set up here. I'm very passionate about education. I have a lot of educators in my family, and so this is particularly a topic that bothers me, that education in this country is as poor as it is. Poor meaning the quality of education it leaves much to be desired. I've weighed many an education system from pre-K all the way up to doctorate programs, and I'm finding a lot of those systems wanting. But that's not why we're here. Get off my little soapbox. But the universe does things with such ease. And that's not how we were trained to believe. But when you lock into, this is easy. Even when you run into challenges, you're thinking to yourself, there is a simple explanation for what I'm doing. There is an easier way to do this. There is a way that this can be done. I can have the result that I want, and I'm not going to have to bust my ass the whole time. There are so many things that we're realizing you don't have to do a whole lot to get the result that you want. And I think it's because, the reason why I was moved to focus on this, I think it's because when you can lock into that ease, you free your mind up. Think about it. Your performance is far better. Now, a lot of procrastinators will say this is not true, but your performance is better when you're in a space where you're free to A, make mistakes, and where B, you have the kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? You have the space to think, to process. When you've got blinders on and it's stress and you've got anxiety and it's like you're looking and breathing through a keyhole, you don't think as well because you're under heavy stress. So, something that I thought about today, an image that might resonate with you, 19 minutes and 19 seconds as I'm about to say this, is think about how the Earth has been spinning on its axis consistently since you were born. It's been doing this longer than that, but let's just go back to when you were born. Let's keep it recent. The Earth spins with no struggle. No struggle. The grass grows effortlessly. The grass grows and plants and trees grow so easily to the point where they break through concrete. They just come on through. Things in nature flow so easy. Now, of course, you have the whole, well, there's the survival that animals do. You know, you've got predators and you've got prey, yes. But again, the natural world, everything is not a cycle, but it's an ecosystem. So everything is happening, and there is a balance that is constantly being, 20 minutes and 20 seconds as I say this, there's a balance that's constantly being pulled to and fro. Things happen in the universe with such ease. They just happen. Nobody's trying. Nothing is struggling and clawing its way to exist. It just does. And so as you are moving through your manifestation journey, as you are moving through the work that you're putting in to do things, start to adopt, well, that was easy. Or that's easy. I can do that. Because I have a feeling you're going to notice how easy things actually are. The amount of concepts in school that I didn't get, and they were so hard, but the biggest reason for me why they were so difficult and they were so hard was because I was stressed. I was being looked at by a teacher who was forcing me to answer questions right then and there in front of an entire class of people who were judging me. But then, like, math was always really hard for me. Math was very hard. Math was super difficult for me. Like, to the point where I cried in school because of how embarrassed I was because of how bad I was at math. And then I went to a community college at one point. I actually was in a basic math class in college, and I failed out of that class. And I was like, I can't, like, I don't know what to do. So somebody suggested that I go to a community college and take math classes there. And so I did. And the math was just as hard, but the teacher that I had the ability to explain it to me in 6 or 7 different ways, and I got it. I understood it. The concepts weren't hard. It was just that they weren't being explained in ways that made sense to me. See, this to me is what makes a good teacher. A good teacher studies a topic that they are teaching so well that they have the ability, 22 minutes and 22 seconds to say this, so somebody here is an educator or wants to be an educator or is a leader of some type. What makes you good at what you do is your ability to know your topic well enough to be able to explain it in multiple ways to people who need to learn it. I had teachers growing up through middle school who taught from the text, meaning that they did not actually know that information. They were reading from the book, and if the book was wrong, they taught it wrong. Meaning that if I then went to, if I was in a higher grade, like when I was in middle school, if a teacher taught me something wrong and it was wrong, I memorized that shit wrong, and then we get into high school and struggle to unlearn that shit. Because all of my middle school teachers taught from the book. They didn't know what they were doing. Let me make sure this is on Do Not Disturb. Ha 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 ha. It wasn't. So, it was that teacher that made me realize, no, this stuff's not actually hard. It's just that you don't know it yet. So you have to learn it. Once you learn it and you're doing it, it's no longer hard. And I was like, what? And then I proceeded to make the rest of my life difficult after that because I didn't understand this was a principle thing. So, as you are moving through and as you're doing things, I want you to take on the mentality that this is actually easy. The universe, that force that is flowing through all things, the force, it is an energy of ease. It just is. It just does. Now, we will have challenges because that is the human experience, but a challenge doesn't mean something has to be a struggle. It doesn't mean you have to suffer through it. Ease is a state of being. It's not about something being like you're just going to walk right through it. It's not like about you being OP in this life, right? It's about moving through life as though the answers are meant to come to you, because they are. So many of the great and wisest people who were prodigies or who were geniuses said that really the biggest thing you need to do is ask. And once you've asked, once you go searching for the answer will find you, just by the nature of how the universe works. And I thought about it today, how heavy the earth is. Could you imagine a planet falling on you? I can't. Huge, big things. The Earth is massive, and yet it spins in the middle of fucking space. Easy. Every day consistently. Since I was born. It's been doing this. Something to think about. The second thing, so in order to wrap that up, I'm now looking at everything as though, no, this is easy. This is easy. And if I'm stumped, I'm just stumped for a little while. If something isn't easy, maybe I shouldn't be attending to that right at this second. Maybe there's something else I need to do first. Or maybe I just need to step back and look at it from a different perspective instead of trying to keep running into a wall face first. Now, it really does depend on the situation, because some people, I believe they sign spiritual contracts to come back here in order to work. Like, that's what they want to do. That's what makes them feel good. So take the things that I say with a grain of salt, because some of you did not come back here to live the type of life that I'm wanting to live. Some of you came back in here, came back here to put in this work. And when I say came back here, I mean your spirit from the collective came to Earth specifically with a soul purpose in mind, in spirit. And once you lock into your soul purpose, that is when you never work a day in your life, because you feel as though you are living the embodiment of what you were meant to do. So for me, when I'm doing these messages, I do them from what I know in this physical state, and then also occasionally I will get certain downloads, certain thoughts that I communicate to you all. But again, take everything I say with a grain of salt. Don't commit everything to be a fact. If it sounds a bit screwy, or if you have questions, look it up. There are a lot of other people who are far more educated. They have more certifications than I do. They have far more hours logged into spiritual work. There are spiritual practitioners that are out there. That is actually their title. So you can go and fact check spiritual stuff. You actually can go and hear what actual spiritualists, who this is what they do when they talk about things, they will tell you. Because there's some people on here who they're just trying to make money. So they'll tell you whatever they think you want to hear. It's it's kind of what happens on the internet when you've got so many people on here looking and vying for attention. So that was the first thing I was moved to do, to be impressed with the universe and to see how incredibly easy it is for things to happen. Then I was moved to see how small the Earth actually is, and this is actually connected to soulmates. So here we go. I know y'all are going to be tired of me talking about soulmates, but here's the thing. I looked it up, and if you were able to drive a car at 60 miles per hour around the equator, and you just kept going, you could do that in a matter of a couple of weeks. You could drive the equator of the entire Earth. Look up how many miles that is. But when I looked it up, that's what it said. You can drive from one point, the furthest point, like at the bottom of the Earth, all the way to you. So you and then the opposite side of the Earth. You can get there and back in a couple of weeks. If you were to drive 60 miles per hour, is it a couple of weeks or a couple of months? It might have been a couple of months. Again, go look this up. It's interesting shit. But if you were to get in a car, and you could, drive to the sun, it would take you about 176 or 75 years or so to get there. There is a point to this. I did look this up on Google, but I have the memory of, I heard somebody say it, and I have to agree, I have the memory of a grain of rice. So, do with that what you will. But, if you drive here to the sun, it's about 176 years. That's over your lifetime, as opposed to the couple of months it would take you to drive around the Earth. Yasha, what's your point? My point is that your soulmate is only ever going to, there is a max distance that this person is away from you. And some of you, it's not even the max distance because they're actually in the same state that you're in, or they're in the same town that you're in. Some of you have even passed your soulmate multiple times, and you don't know that it's them because you just haven't gotten to a point where you're open enough to see them. You've got some things that you need to learn first so that you can see them. Whenever I've talked about soulmates in the past, I always thought it was this impossibility. I was like, it's not going to happen. And the first thing is, I was like, there's nobody who's going to get me because I'm unique. Well, that's actually not true. I am, 30 minutes and 30 seconds as I'm about to say this, I am my own person, yes. And there is nobody on earth who has the exact same experiences and physical, mental, and spiritual makeup that I do, just by nature of the experiences that I have. The parents that I have, the siblings that I have, the states where I grew up, the type of schooling that I've done, all of that, the type of trauma that I've had, all of those experiences in themselves are not unique, but it's the combination of those experiences that are unique. But there are many people on this planet, What is a planet? There are many people on this planet who are similar to me. And there are thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people living on this planet. I was over here on some I will never find love because what I want doesn't exist. That's not true. It exists by the nature of you wanting it. If there is something in your spirit that you are wanting to do or that you're wanting to achieve, there is a way that it can be done. By the nature of you wanting it, it would not be placed on your spirit. It would not be something that just keeps cropping up for you over the years if you weren't meant to give some type of attention to it. Like me, I don't want to be an architect. I don't want to build houses. So that's not for me because that's not something I've ever thought and been like, no, yeah, like that's the life I want to live. Hand me the plaster and hammer. No, that's not my thing. Never wanted to do that. But there's other stuff I've wanted to do that I've been really, really into. And those things were placed on my spirit for a reason. Just like there's a lot of stuff that's been placed on your spirit for a reason. You are meant to give it attention. Some of it's just there to help you grow. When you give it the attention it deserves, it's going to teach you something, and then that may go away. It'll be like, class is no longer in session. You've graduated. Good job. Some things are meant to stay with you your entire life because that's what you came back here to experience. And if you're a person who is looking for a soulmate, you're looking for a divine connection, that is one of the things you came back here to do, because let me tell you, you may not believe me, but there are people out here who they don't care to have that type of connection. I've dated quite a few people and I've had quite a few acquaintances who they're in relationships where they don't have like this deep connection where they're pouring out their heart, where they're vulnerable and they feel like they're an exposed nerve. They have a very happy relationship and they feel like that is enough because it is enough for them. Not everybody wants the exact same thing. So, 33 minutes and 33 seconds as I'm saying this, that experience that you're wanting is for you. And that experience that you're wanting is here. It's already here for you to have. It's a matter of you opening yourself up to receive it. It's you opening yourself up to do the things that you need to do in order to have it. Some of you, there are some lessons, and I have been one of these people. So I'm going to lead by showing you, by telling you what was happening to me. So one of the things that I realized, I've realized a lot of things, but one of the big things that I realized was how important it is to communicate, learn how to communicate in a way where you're not just dumping all of your emotions on your partner. And this was an incredibly important thing I needed to learn how to do. But before I knew that that was something I needed to learn how to do, I was complaining about the fact that I felt like I would never, 34 minutes and 34 seconds as I'm saying this, I was complaining about the fact that I felt like I would never find my soulmate. And yet, my soulmate is working through their own stuff. I am working through my own stuff, and I believe that the way soulmates and twin flame relationships work is that you will not recognize each other until the time is right. For some of you, you have already recognized your person. You already know who it is. You've already had engagement. You've already talked. But you need to focus on you. Do not be so concerned about what the other person is doing. If you're in a situation where you feel like this person's already your twin flame or your soulmate, and you feel it, there is a difference. There is a difference between feeling like somebody is spiritually, you are connected to them, and just being infatuated with somebody or having a crush on somebody. It's a bit difficult for me to explain the difference. I personally, it feels different. It just feels different to me. And so I believe that the soulmate journey / the twin flame journey is different for a lot of people. So some people, you have met this person already. Some of you met this person in childhood, and you've kind of been having this person come in and out of your life in various capacity, has not been romantic at all. And that's your soulmate. And they're working on themselves and you're working on yourself. And when you guys finally get to a point where you are in sync enough, that's going to happen. But it requires you to focus on your work of you, not on what they're doing. For some of you, you have not met this person yet. And when you do meet this person, you're not going to recognize them as your soulmate immediately because you're supposed to grow into it with that person. And that feeling is going to get stronger and it's going to hit you randomly as you're dealing with this person. You're going to be like, oh, shoot, it's you. This whole time I didn't realize it was you. Some of you are going to go through what I am currently going through and what is most likely going to be my situation, because I really do feel like this is what's going to happen, which is I am not allowed to know who my soulmate is. I'm not allowed to meet them until it is the perfect time, because if I met them before, I would have very aggressively tried to lock in with that person. I would not have let that person pass. I have a feeling I'm going to recognize them instantly. It's not going to be they were under my nose the whole time. Nope. That's not my story. And I always thought that was cute. I always wanted that to be my story, because I was like, I kind of like the trope where you kind of have the friends to lovers, or I like the trope where, you guys, but that's not for me. 37 minutes and 23 seconds as I say that. Because I have a feeling, I've just felt it. I felt it in my gut. It's been kind of one of those, y'all are not going to be dealing with each other very long before y'all lock it in, because you're going to feel that connection. Now, something I was moved to share, to tell you all watching this, is that just because someone is your twin flame or your soulmate or whatever the fuck the incredible connection is, does not mean that relationship's going to be easy. Because some of you have thought that. Some of you have thought that a soulmate makes a relationship easy. Actually, it's kind of not that at all. A soulmate triggers you and challenges you to be a better person. So if you're a person who you're like, man, I can't wait to stop doing shadow work and then get into a relationship and live happily ever after, spoiler alert, that's not how that works. You are definitely going to be challenged. You're definitely going to be triggered in a lot of ways by your partner, and it's necessary. It's a growth thing. You and the other person are growing together. You're living life together. You're exploring together. So finding your soulmate is going to push you. It's going to make you uncomfortable, but it's going to make you uncomfortable in a really good, healthy way. Like, that's the point. So, just thought I would let you know. If you were like, I'm really just ready to be there and to be done, sorry to tell you, that's not how it's going to happen. So, keep that in mind. It's interesting because I know just how much more agreeable I am than I used to be, but I do have deal breakers in my relationships. That desperation is not there anymore. So there are just certain things that I will not stand for. And because of that, I know that one of my challenges is going to be being kind when I set boundaries. Because when you're a person who's been a people pleaser for a long time and you start setting boundaries with people, you tend to swing too far in the other direction, where you are trying to square up with everybody. Everybody is a squabble opportunity. I've had a couple of times where I've had family members who've said things to me and I literally turned on them and swung on them verbally, and they were not prepared for it. And I was excited to get at them because it had just been so many years of me allowing people to cross boundaries I didn't even set them. And so I already know that this next relationship, it's going to be a challenge, because it's not just going to be like, yeah, there's going to be the crush phase, there's going to be the butterfly, what they call NRE, new relationship energy, where you want to be in each other's face the whole time. You're at it like rabbits. You're really just, you're like, oh my God, it's intoxicating. I can't not be around this person. I'm obsessed. They're obsessed. We're just so happy. But then that part is going to become, like, when it starts to solidify, there is going to be challenge. I already know. And the crazy thing is I can't even prepare for it, because I think I said it in another video, and if I didn't say it, I read it. Somebody said, it was like an Instagram post, and somebody said, there's only so much work you can do for your next relationship by yourself, because so much of the work that you have to do in a relationship requires you to actively be in a relationship to do that. I was like, what you mean I just can't be perfect and never have to do work again when I meet my man? And they were like, yeah, no, you came back to do this whole lived experience thing. And I was like, fuck. But no, I'm excited. So yeah, the world is actually not that big. The distance from here to, say, Texas, from here to California, because I'm in Florida. So the distance between here and Massachusetts, here and Oklahoma, here in Texas, here in Nevada, here and California, those distances are easily flown with a plane. Easily. And the internet makes it even easier. Your soulmate is somewhere walking around right now, being all cute and sexy, living their best life. And the only thing that you need to focus on is playing and learning about yourself, being aware of yourself. And as things pop up for you to study about yourself and to work on in yourself, that person also doing that for themselves is going to find you just by nature of that connection. That's one of the biggest things. Trust that it's going to happen. And I know that can be hard for a lot of you who have had relationship where your track record is people just fucked you over, or you had a track record where people were just the worst. But you have to trust. You have to find a way to trust. For me, I first had to start trusting myself. So if I said I was going to do something, I did it. I had to lock into the discipline. I had to teach my inner child that they could trust me, that I was going to protect her. We would get into situations where people who ordinarily would cross our boundaries would try to do that, and I would be like, hey, yo, I don't see how you can hate from outside the club. You can't even get in. It's very funny. I'm going to need you to back up and give me 50 feet. Once I got to that point, and my inner child got to a point where she could trust me, that is when I knew I could start believing things and trust that it is going to happen. Doubts still do come up, but they're not nearly as aggressive as they used to be for me. Like, it used to be bad, but because I have a practice of discipline and trusting myself, 43 minutes and 43 seconds as I say that, I trust that my person is also manifesting me as I am manifesting them. And that is your situation too. Somebody is manifesting you as you are manifesting them. Because we as spiritual beings cannot help but to do that. A lot of you came back here to live that soulmate experience. And I'm so excited for when y'all do. I want to see pictures. I want it in the comments. I want posts. I'm so excited for you. Some of you are going to find that woman, and that woman is going to blow your set up. She is going to shock you in ways that you are not prepared for. You're going to be like, I did not know. I did not believe that a woman like this could be out here for me. She is. She is out there for you. She is ready to blow up your whole set. There's a lot of y'all ladies out there This man is out here. He's out here working on himself. Some of y'all, your partner is in currently a committed relationship, being mistreated and not being appreciated for what they do, and they're having to learn a valuable lesson so that when they get to you, they actually appreciate you for who you are. They're not going to just kind of leave you to the side. There are a lot of people, they did not appreciate how great you are and how wonderful you can be. They did not appreciate your ability to listen, your ability to hold space for them. And that's something that only a person who is aware can regret. So those were a lot of unaware people. But then when you get with your person is a person who may have not been aware of how great a person was, of how amazing a person could be. And now they're going through it, and when they get to you, then they will be able to be truly appreciative of your presence. 45 minutes, 45 seconds as I say this. So, I think, for me, I believe that is quickly approaching. I believe that is quickly approaching. And when I say quickly, it's kind of like a quickly as in to get prepared. So to just be ready. So today, or tonight, I actually did some journaling as I was watching a stream. And one of the things that I did was I started to make a note of everything that's happening in my life currently. And the reason I did this is because every time I've been about to switch from one portion of my life and transition into another portion, I have randomly got the feeling to start making a note of where I am and what I'm doing. And I become hyper aware of where I am. So when I lived in Boston and I was itching to leave because I was just not happy and I wanted to be where my support system was. And at the time, my support system was here in Orlando because I felt like I was just there alone. I felt like I was up there on my own, just trying to live every day, struggling to survive. And I wanted nothing more than to be home, than to be back in a place where I could regroup and figure out what the fuck I wanted. And so randomly, I was at work one morning and I just started looking around and realizing the scratches that were on the wall, the squeakiness of a chair, like looking up and hearing the AC vents coming on and being like, wow, so the AC vent always comes on and makes that scratchy noise. Like I started my walks home or taking like public transportation home from work, I started to become aware of the location. And then I moved from that location. And I will never live in that location ever again. I'm not going to. I have no want to live in that location ever again. But I have that memory. And I think back on it. And I think about how sad and depressed, 47 minutes and 47 seconds as I'm saying this, I thought about how incredibly depressed I was. And I don't feel that way anymore. And I'm so happy. I'm here where I am loved. I have family around me. I've been able to bring myself to a place where spiritually I just feel so much better. There's just a lot of good stuff going on for me emotionally. And now I am manifesting, obviously, new things at this point. But then I started realizing, I was like, let me be aware of what's happening around me. So I started making a note of, the complex that I live in and, all of the animals that I see typically and kind of what my schedule has been, because that's all going to change too. As I'm doing work like this, and as I do more work that I'm locking into that I really want to do, I'm getting paid to play, my life is going to look very different. It's gotten to a point where I believe I trust that is going to happen. I've gotten too many communiques. Again, I still have the occasional days where I doubt, but I think that's just what happens when you were trained to doubt yourself your entire life by the people around you. I just think that's a natural part of the human experience. And I don't beat myself up for it. You shouldn't beat yourself up either. But I just became just hyper aware of where I am and what I'm doing. And I was like, wow, at some point I will no longer be in this apartment complex, and then my family won't be living here anymore, and then that'll just be that. Like, I'm enjoying the fact that I share a room with my sister right now. Because once she locks it in with her mans, and I lock it in with my mans, we're not going to live in the same room together, especially when we start having kids. We'll be visiting. We'll visit each other. But it's never going to be this again. And I know some of you are really excited about that. Like, your situation is not one that is positive. So you're like, I can't wait to leave this fucking place. I can't wait to be in a better place. And I feel you for that. That is so real. That is such a real thing. And with that being said, look around you and really take in where you're at. Because as you are slowly moving out of that process and you're transitioning, that is a testimony. That is a testimony. And you don't have to be religious or spiritual to, you know, testify and to let people know where you're at. It is an example. You show, as you're moving from tough places into better places, you are able to show other people that it is possible. It is possible. That's why I love when people comment their experience in the comments. There are a couple of creators who I follow, and people in the comments will tell you about the hard life that they've lived. And they've been like, man, I never thought it was going to get better. And now I'm doing this thing. No, I'm not a millionaire, but I'm happy. I got married to a good woman who I love, who supports me. We have 3 beautiful children. Like, I see stuff like that all the time where people are like, I didn't think I was going to make it. I saw one post under a Jadina video not too long ago, and somebody said, you really are preaching to the choir. I used to be strung out on drugs. I had no family. I had no friends. I was homeless. I was moving from one place to the next. I was, you know, just going through it essentially. And she was like, and now I'm married to an amazing man who loves me for who I am. I have these beautiful, healthy children. You know, I've lost weight. I feel great. And I have a job making, I think she said she was making like $37,000 a year or $38,000 a year. And with his job, they were living comfortably. Like, they weren't they didn't have an overabundance of money, but for a lot of people, that's not even what they want. Like, for me, I don't care to be a gajillionaire. It's having a life where I'm able to enjoy what I'm doing and support my family. That's it. That's really it. Now, I'm not going to block the universe. You know, if the universe has gifts for me and the universe is like, hey, you got a lot of other stuff coming, I'm not going to be like, no, don't do that. No, please. I'll be like, no. But yes, I'm definitely not going to block my own blessings. But when it comes to the stuff that I want, it really is as simple as being in love and being happy. So yeah, when it comes to the whole soulmate thing, trust that is an experience for you. I get so sad when people are like, I've just gotten to the point where I know that's not for me. And I'm like, all you're doing now is taking in that emotion and telling yourself that your life will never be any different than what it is, and you don't want to hope. And I know some people, they're tired of hoping. They're tired of hanging in there. They're tired of it. And that is 100% you're right. If you're tired and you're like, I'm going to stop doing this, I'm going to do something else. That is 100% you're right. 52 minutes and 52 seconds as I say that. You have a right to be tired. It can get exhausting. But what I do tell you is that there are opportunities. There's stuff that you haven't thought of. There are people who are like, I've been trying to get at my shit for years, and I guarantee you there's at least 25 different avenues that you haven't even touched. Because humans are finite. Our minds are finite. We don't have the ability to see all angles and all sides. We don't even have the ability to be truly objective. So how can you see? You're not omnipotent. You're not omnipresent. Yes, the energy and force that flows through you is in all things, but your conscious mind is not in all things. Your subconscious mind is. But most people do not have control over their subconscious mind. They don't have the ability to, see every possible pathway. I mean, if you do, that's crazy. If you're over here on some Doctor Strange stuff, and you be doing the head thing, and and you're like, this is the one. Tell me about it, because I want you to do some digging for me. No, that's not true. I don't actually want to know how everything works out. I like surprises. I like surprises a lot. I enjoy being shocked. I'm a big person. I love it. I'm kind of a big kid in that sense. But yeah. So that experience is there for you if you want it. You don't have to have it. If you're like, listen, I don't want to do the soulmate thing anymore. I want to be crazy cat lady, or I want to be the guy who just has all of his plants in his home and he takes care of his plants and he has his German Shepherd and he's living his life. I support you in that. Every life path that is, of course, not harming people, you know, it's beautiful and it can be amazing. 54 minutes and 54 seconds, as I say that. So that was the second thing. So the first thing was being impressed by the universe. The second thing was the soulmate thing, and realizing that at any given moment, my soulmate is only a certain distance away. They can't be that far away. They can't leave this earth. It's like they can't go live on Mars yet. I mean, maybe at some point. But right now, they are relegated to this planet just like I am. And the world is actually not that big. It's so small. The fact that while I was in Massachusetts, I actually met people who went to the same church that I did. People who were no longer religious, walking around the city, and I'm like, what are you doing up here? And they're like, oh, I just decided to leave. And I'm like, what are you doing here? That's crazy. That's crazy. When people say small world, it is a small world, bro. It's not 55 minutes and 55 seconds as I'm saying that. So the changes that are coming for you and me both, friend, it's not that far-fetched. It's never that far-fetched. It's never that far-fetched. It's easy, and trust that it is possible. Come on now. Lock in. We've been doing all kinds of other bullshit for the longest time. We may as well lock into something. We may as well lock into something that brings us joy. And then the last one, I think that was the whole analytics thing, and I checked that and I thought that was really cool. And that made me happy. But yeah, man. Life is good. I didn't play any video games today because I was not moved to do so. What I was actually moved to do, and I've been talking about it for so long, which is how I know it's an experience I am meant to have. I have been talking about streaming for the past 10 years. I can confidently say that. I'm 31 years old, and since I was 21, I have been talking about wanting to stream. And I have been in relationships where I have been with guys who they know how to do it, they had the technical know-how, and they would have totally helped me. But they were kind of like, well, just tell me what you want done and we can do it. I didn't even know where to start at the time. And personally, I don't think they were supposed to help me. I honestly think I was supposed to do this whole streaming and gaming journey. I think this was meant for me to figure out by myself, so that I could enjoy it. It wouldn't be tainted with a past memory of a person who is no longer here, or a person who didn't fully support me in what I wanted to do. I think that's why. And that may be the case for some of you. The reason why you didn't do certain things with other people is because they didn't need to be a part of it. They didn't need to be able to say in any capacity, oh, I helped them with that. Not really. Not really. They locked it in themselves. Nice try. The people who want to come back after you've gotten big and be like, I always knew they could do it. It's like, okay, whatever. That's nice, but the reason you're not super close to them is because you weren't fully supportive, or else you'd still be there. So there's that. And of course, there's sometimes those of us who are moving into better spaces, yeah, we made mistakes too. I'm not saying we were perfect in our relationships, but at the same time, I have people in my life who are friends who are committed to that friendship. So, even when I was on some fuck shit, I have friends who are like, I don't give a fuck that you're on the fuck shit. I am here. This is where I will be. So, I mean, it is what it is. So I've been talking about doing this shit for 10 years, and this is the first time I've gotten to a point where I don't have online anxiety anymore. I have been in these chats, talking my shit, in these streaming chats, laughing, cackling. I'm crying every night because the chatters in these streams are funny as fuck to me. I had somebody gift me a sub at one point. They allowed me to watch a person who I was streaming, Big Puffer. I was watching his stream, and they're like, here you go. I've paid for a 1-month subscription, so you have access to all this stuff, and you don't have to see ads. And I was like, oh my gosh, you're a fucking blessing. Can I buy you an edible arrangement? Because that's always the type of stuff I want to do for people. I'm like, let me buy you some fruit with some chocolate on it. So I've just been enjoying it. And I think I had to get over my anxiety of being online. Just very quickly, for those of you who haven't seen my other videos, I had anxiety about engaging with people online because when I was younger, like coming up through middle and high school, I had a couple of really negative experiences gaming online, and it turned me off of the whole situation. I was a very sensitive kid. Um, and so now that I'm doing it, I don't have that anxiety. I can chat, I can stream, I can go live. I went live on TikTok. I think it was 2 years ago. I was live on TikTok and I had some people pop in and they spoke to me and we had a really good time. So I don't have the same online anxiety that I used to have. And I think that's another reason why I didn't stream or do any online gaming, because I was incredibly sensitive. I cared way too much what people thought. I just didn't have the facilities for that, you know? And now I have the facilities. So I'm really excited. So I think tomorrow my goal for the day is to look up like what I need to start that type of setup, because the cool thing is because I went to Full Sail and because I actually have friends who are like, anything that you do, I'm gonna support you. Like, they're entertainers who support. I actually already have a lot of people who are like, the minute you start gaming, let me know so that I can follow you and so that I can watch your stuff. Spoiler alert, I'm not great at gaming. I just enjoy playing games. So I may be like a variety person who just does games that I like to play, or that, you know, maybe recommended in some cases, but I'm not like a speedrunner. I'm not a, you know, 100% every game. There might be a couple games I try to 100%, but they'll be games I've already played most likely. But yeah, so even if it's like, it's funny because I actually don't have a lot of Full Sail people that know I do these videos because I was like, yeah, spirituality, I'm not looking for people to start trying to have a debate with me on it. So I was like, I'm not telling people that I know that I do these videos. So I just recently did a post on it, like like maybe a week ago or something like that. And so I started getting more people coming in. But for the most part, I have not told the people who I engage with that I do these videos. But they will know about the streaming when I start doing that and when I can figure that out. But yeah, so I think tomorrow I'm going to look at, because I have a lot of the programs and stuff already downloaded. It's just that I would read articles that walked you through it and I would get overwhelmed by the amount of information that was on there, because I'm not a tech person. I'm not a computer person. I've never been into like software engineering or anything like that. Funny enough, almost every guy I dated was very techie, very good at math, very into stuff like that. And I was like, what is this shit? But so yeah, I'm going to take my time doing that, continue to play video games for myself and enjoy that process and enjoy being online. I play with, like, I have, you know, my bestie and I are going to start playing games together and just enjoying that. I've been playing a lot with my siblings and that's been really fun. I played Borderlands with my brother and my sister. I think it was Borderlands 2, if I'm not mistaken, and it was so fun. It was so fun. I want to play it again. It was amazing. But yeah, so yeah, that's something that's been on my spirit for a long time. So if I, a person who has had anxiety about starting new things and doing new things, if I can start doing stuff like this, and I'm posting videos about it, where people who are not so nice have the ability to comment mean things or to be dicks about it, if I can do it, then you can do what you need to do for you. You can come out of your comfort zone and do 3 minutes and 3 seconds on the hour as I say this. You can come out of your comfort zone and do things that you want to do. Are you a person who's always wanted to game, but you're nervous you're going to be shit? In the chat that I was in tonight, I was watching, you know, Big Puffer play Marvel Rivals, and he's pretty decent at it. I enjoy watching him play. He's very highly ranked, so he's much better than I will ever be, because I just am not the type of person to put in those type of hours. But somebody in the chat was saying, I really want to start this game, but I'm nervous I'm going to be shit at it. And I was like, this is crazy that there's so many of us who want to play video games. Video games are meant to be enjoyed, and yet we don't do it because there's a bunch of tryhards in the gaming community who, they just sit in there and talk shit to people who want to come in and play and have a good time. And they're mad because people who want to play casually want to be in there. Fuck them. If you want a game and you're not good at gaming, if you're an older person, because some of my analytics are showing that people up to the age of like 40 are watching my videos. So if you're a person who is in your early 40s and you're like, yo, I want a game, but I have not in any capacity ever played a video, do it. Research a game that you want to play that looks interesting and do it. Life is meant to be enjoyed. You're in your play era. It is that time. And if you're a person who does game but you want to game more, do that. If you're a person who you've never been to a Renaissance fair or you've never been to a con and you want to go, start planning how to do that. You can very easily start planning by what cosplay do you want to do? What characters do you like? What shows do you like? What stories and books do you like? And then you can look up cosplay information. You can look up where the cons are. You can look up how to get to them. Depending upon where you live, there's usually a con that's not very far from where you are. There are smaller cons and smaller Renaissance fairs happening everywhere. I believe the first day of February, at least here in Florida, is when the Renaissance fairs start popping up here. So if you live in the state of Florida and you're interested in going to a Ren fair, do it. Do it. Let 2025 be the year that you start making new memories. Clear out old photos of fuck people that you don't fuck with no more. Situations that you don't want to remember, delete those photos. Get rid so that you have room to take pictures and video footage of new memories. I love that this is like a little... Now's the time, my love. Now's the time. And I would like to hear, I would like to see and read in the comments. If you guys have things that you're interested in and that you're scared to do, put them in the comments. I'll talk about it at some point now that I read your comments. Especially, you know, especially if it's stuff that you're interested because you're passionate about it, but you're just nervous because you're like, I've never stepped into this space before. Girl, I feel that. I feel that. I get it. But yeah, you and I, we have got this. We as a collective people have this. Allow your inner child to run free. Somebody here liked Hot Wheels growing up, and I think it's time for you to get back on it. You need to get back on the Hot Wheels, friend. You need to go look for those cars. You need to go look for some Hot Wheels-esque vehicles. If you were a Lincoln Log kid or a Lego kid, it is now time for you to get back into it. It's time for you to get back into it. Bring it in. It's all about the play, baby. Oh my gosh, there's so many video games I actually want to play. Like, I actually love, what are they called? They're not dating sims, but you know how dating sims are, like dating simulators can be? Games that kind of resemble dating simulators, but are not those games. Like, there's a game I saw Pezzy play. I think it's called Me-Side, and it's a horror game, technically, I think, but it's kind of set up like that. Whatever that game is, I have to look up and see, like, what genre of game that is, but I like games like that. They're pretty cool. I like those. I like decision-based games, where, like, you have dialogue options and it, like, changes the whole story. I love that type of stuff. So I don't know. Let's do this together. Let's get into it together. I'm very, very excited. But yeah. I know one of my phrases that I'll be saying all the time is, but yeah. I always say, but yeah. I think that's all I have for now. That episode of SpongeBob where the guy is doing the Krusty Krab training video. And the whole time it's like, you want to learn how to make a Krabby Patty, but he's like, no, you have to learn how to wash your hands and tie your shoes and how you get to work and how you deal with your boss and all this stuff. And then at some point at the end of the episode, he's like, and now for the moment you've all been waiting for, how to make a delicious Krabby Patty. And like the Krabby Patty starts at the very back of the screen and it's super small. And the narrator is like, ta-ta, ti-ta-ti-li-ta-ti-li-ta, and the Krabby Patty is slowly, look for this clip on YouTube, I'm sure it's on here, and the burger is coming to the front and he is going off, losing breath, singing himself, like the theme song for the burger that's slowly coming up to the camera, and that shit kills me every time. It's like that episode in in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, the scene where, great movie. I love that movie. Mos Def is very fine in that movie. And he's also hilarious in it. So funny. So funny. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Go watch this movie. Go find it, go watch it, go enjoy it. This is where a lot of my humor comes from. And in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, the scene where the ships are all coming to Earth and it's going da, 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 and it's like zooming out. And it does it for so long. Guys, I cry every fucking time. Because it's the musical sting and it just keeps going for so long and it's like what they're still going. It's so funny. It's so funny to me. Some of y'all might watch that scene and be like, this is not that funny, but that shit has me crying every time. It's so funny. Love on yourself for me. Drink some water for yourself. Well, love on yourself for you, but if you don't want to do it for you, do it for me. Do it for me, Stu. The Grinch That Stole Christmas. I can't believe those two boys. They were like, knock on the Grinch's door. She was like, he's like, I don't want to, I'm scared. And she was like, do it for me, Stu. And I was like, really? For some hoonani? Hoonani? Bro. Where's my Netflix special? That was so bad. For some hoonani. Oh, jeez. I can be funny when called upon. It usually takes me being like an hour in before the jokes actually start flying. Honestly, I feel like if I was talking to somebody else, this would be way funnier. But yeah, that scene was really funny to me. That's another movie I love. The live action Grinch That Stole Christmas with Jim Carrey is fucking funny. Fucking hilarious. I've said this in another video of mine that I did, but he is so funny. Max. I asked for this wrench, not this one. Stay focused. So funny. I hope that wasn't too loud. Somebody asked me in one of my videos, why are you whispering? I whisper because the other people in the apartment that live here with me, these walls are super fucking thin and they're all sleeping when I do these videos. Like usually they're all knocked out. My sister has classes early in the morning, and my parents also live here and get up at the butt crack of dawn to do things. I am the only person in this household who like kind of just stays here and maintains things and doesn't really like go anywhere a lot often. So that's why I can do these videos super late at night. I know most of you are actually seeing these videos in between 6 p.m. and 9 p.m. my time. I don't know what time that would be for you, but but yeah, when I'm recording these videos, it is usually in between midnight and 5 a.m. is when I do these videos. I wait till everybody goes to sleep because my parents usually watch TV at the loudest possible volume. I love them so much. They are definitely surround sound people. So they're listening to it and that can be heard from in here. If anybody's washing clothes, that can be heard from in here. There's no place in this apartment where you can really go where it's quiet enough to do videos like this. So for those of you who are curious, that is why I am whispering most of the time. Now, a lot of the times I can talk at a regular level because, like, right now, my sister and I have 2 noise machines on and we have 3 fans on in our room because it gets pretty warm in our space. So, it's pretty loud, so she's not going to be able to hear me. But, excuse me. Sometimes I remember that and I like to bring the volume down. My dad said at some point, we had friends over and we were all playing Mortal Kombat in the living room. We were all laughing and talking. No, we were playing the old school Star Wars games. And we were out there talking and laughing and carrying on, and my dad came out and he said, hey, I need you all to turn that down to a minimum of nothing. And I was so irritated at the moment, but then I thought about it afterwards and I was like, to a minimum of nothing? Bars. Bars, father. Okay. You ever get like the you just anyways, I think that's all I have for you guys. Tortoise says hello. Mwah. I hope you guys I hope you guys have a great morning, afternoon, evening, or night. I hope your next 12 hours are incredible. I hope you feel loved and protected and amazing. I hope that this video made you feel a little better about your life, made you feel good so that you could go to sleep or you can move through the rest of your day with confidence. Remember, you're beautiful. You're beautiful, babe. You're beautiful. You're handsome. You're sexy. You're out here making things happen. You're getting up. You're moving. You're thinking. You're processing. 14 minutes and 44 seconds on the hour as I say that. You are beautiful and unique and you're amazing. And I want you to remember that. Okay? I want you to remember that. And I think that is it. So I think we're going to end it here tonight. And I am going to see you all tomorrow night for our next video. Again, unless I get turned into an animal or something happens. If I wake up and I've been teleported to the Amazon in the woods, I have way bigger problems than trying to make a video for y'all. I don't know, I might be able to figure out a way to do it. If I'm in the Amazon woods, I think the biggest issue will be food. Finding clothes. Finding civilization in some way, because I know some of the most irritating insects in the world are in the Amazon jungle, so honestly, I'm gonna be real with y'all, I might not make it out. If I get teleported into the Amazon, I'm just gonna send out like spirit energy and hopefully it'll reach you and it'll be like, just remember you're super beautiful, but it was my time to go. There's really nothing that you or I could do about it. So, but yeah, hopefully that won't happen and I'll see you all tomorrow night. Okay, love you, bye.